This is another one of those placeholder essays. Today's March 23rd, 2019. I wanted to make a comment about depraved indifference to human life. Not so much of Marxism, but of the improvements that Lenin and Mao especially made to Marxism. The improvement being the depraved indifference to human life. It started not so much with Karl Marx. His big mistake was intentionally misunderstanding motivations of people as being strictly one of dialectical materialism. Lenin and Mao made the mistake, or the correct approach if you look at what's going on today all around me, of including depraved indifference to human life in their revisions to Marx's dogma. I'm watching the debate here about what to release and what not to release. And it occurs to me when they talk about, well, not these people, but when, hang on a minute.
I have to tell you, Paul, I'm beginning to have second thoughts about this idea of transparency. Do we really want to spend the next 2 years wallowing in every piece of information that Robert Mueller had, every conversation that his attorneys and prosecutors had with one another for political effect? Because I think the American people pretty much, unless they just hate Donald Trump, are pretty much tired of this process. Kim, what's your response to
All right, hang on a second. Well, Henninger makes one point. Everybody's sick of it. But there's the other point that keeps coming up, which is there are a number of people who didn't do anything, but there's all kinds of stuff presumably to be released or possible to be released. It's in the notes and whatever other findings or paperwork or whatever can be subpoenaed by the Congress. And they can theoretically decide what to release. You compare what Congress wants to do with what may have been done, I don't know for a fact, when Hillary Clinton, her file was officially closed by Comey. There were a lot of people screaming. If there was an investigation of the Clinton Foundation and Comey's decision that follows up from some of the things that were done to look at the internal FBI issues. We don't know about it, but there may have been something done. And there may be something that Congress wants to look at legitimately as a result of whatever it is that Mueller did not find, and they want to see what it was he did find. That would be a genuine reason to look. But we know we're dealing with Marxists here, and they already stepped all over a bunch of Trump people and their rights with total reckless disregard for what it was that these various people have to go through or have had to go through. And now Congress is doing with a long list of witnesses on their, oil drilling expeditions into Trump's pre-presidential business dealings, maybe some post-presidential stuff, which is a different thing. I really object to the pre-presidential stuff, although that obviously was to be expected. It's just, what Congress generically used to do, especially Democrats, for some reason. Anyway, the behaviors that the current arguers for we're going to subpoena everything in the Mueller investigation after Mueller basically said, I'm not going to do any indictments, is sounding a lot like the reckless disregard for human life, living life, not just killing people, but, of Marxists, but also of, making those who are around who are political enemies have lives of living hell. Anyone want to argue with me on that point? Go right ahead. Not this week. You wait until 2, 3 weeks from now, if I survive that long. Some days I really wonder. Today's one of them. Want me to make the point concisely? The current, I doubt it, witch hunt stuff that's now moving to Congress about Mueller's report, which used to be held up as being sacrosanct because Mueller was a sacred saint who was going to find collusion. Whoops, that's not a crime. Conspiracy is. That's how they're lecturing us now for picking up on their conversation about collusion for over a year. It's not collusion, you idiot. Forgetting what they said before. It's conspiracy and always has been, you wrong. That's how they deflect criticism. It's kind of crude. Let me try to make the point clearer and more concise. It's kind of hard to because this is a complicated subject been going on forever. Well, since Robbie Mook needed to explain his loss to Donald Trump, he did a really good job. Everybody got hooked super fast. Henninger said it was January 17th, 2017, but I think it was more like, November 11th, 2016, with Robbie Mook sitting in an interview. My jaw almost hit the floor. Alright, let's try to make a long story short again. The point here is we're looking at Marxism in action, ruining the lives of living people and trying to kill people with total disregard for everything. Any regard you see is lip service. I mean, look what they did to Kavanaugh. It's the same thing. Go ruin him over a bunch of phony baloney. Oh, wait a minute. It's now etched in my hippocampus. Boy, that really proved professional credentials and the truth, didn't it? News at 11 someday, right? Okay, I'm Columbo. Here's one more thing. Even though reckless disregard for human life of Marxists is underlay a lot of stuff, but really came out during the Stalinist show trial in the Senate with Kavanaugh. Okay, it wasn't exactly Joe Stalin, but man, those tactics were straight out of Yezhov. We have assumed and not really stated the most important point, which is the careless or reckless disregard for human life. We've been working with a headless salience list. We really need to put this one near the top, if not exactly at the top. Hint, hint.